Making 100K for your video production company is all about being proactive and creating opportunities. So here are 7 easy ways that you can copy to hit your goals. Now, what I'm not gonna do in this video is what I've seen other people do in the past, which is sit here and say, all you need to do is charge 20 grand a project and do 5 projects a year. That's easy, isn't it? Because the reality is, it's a long journey before you can even start charging 20, 30, 40 grand for a project. And that journey starts at day one of starting out on low day rates, charging small amounts and then increasing your prices, building out your portfolio and all of these things, which is why these strategies I'm gonna give you are the ones that I used at the initial stages of my business to help me smash through that 100K target. So every video production company needs to be using some kind of retainer model, or what we call the RCP, which stands for Regular Content Plan and is an adapted retainer model for video production companies so that you can create consistency within your business. And the reason that's important is because some of you might be experiencing what we call feast or famine. So some months you're really busy, you got loads of work on, maybe too much work, and then other months you are completely quiet and you have no idea when or where that next job is coming from. What the retainer model allows you to do is to create consistency so that we know we're getting paid X amount for our clients every single month. And when we implemented this into our business, we were able to skyrocket and smash through that 100K target. And that's how we know we've got more than 100K coming in every single month through our contracted clients. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't do one-off projects like you're currently doing, because the retainer model isn't a fit for every business, but it's a fit for a lot of businesses, and that's really important to know. It's gonna provide you with a predictable cash flow and consistency within your business, which then makes it really easy to grow, because if you know you've got that money coming in every month, later on down the line, it gives you opportunities to know that you can afford to employ someone or buy the latest camera or whatever that is, because you know you've got that money coming in guaranteed because they've signed a contract with you as well. Now, I've got a huge in-depth training about this. I'll link it in the description below, and we're gonna dive into all the strategies around how to build your own RCP and also how to convert clients that are currently using you on one-off projects onto a retainer model so they're paying you every single month and you make more money at the end of the year than you would have done if you just continued seeing them ad hoc or just as and when they phone you up. But make sure you watch until the end of this video first, because there's still so much more value to come. So the second thing I did that really helped grow our business through that 100K target was to work white label for other production companies. Now, we're kind of at a point now where we can't really do that because we have a whole team of people ourselves, so there would be more of a threat there. But if you are currently sitting as a kind of one-man band or maybe 1 or 2 person team and you're relatively small and starting out in your journey, then I would consider working white label for other production companies. We hire freelancers all the time, and even though that they might position themselves as production company owners, we know that it's just them on their own, so we contract them in on per project basis. And that's a really good way for 1, you to build out your portfolio, 2, to see how a bigger production company runs and how it operates as well, so that you can take that knowledge and apply it to your own business later on. And ultimately, you get to work on bigger projects as well because of the caliber of clients they'll be bringing in. Now, the reason it's called white label is because often if you're on set, you're as if anyone came up to you and said, hey, who are you? Where are you working from? Or like, who do you work for or whatever, you would, for all intents and purposes, be working for that production company. So I wouldn't say, yeah, I'm Ross from Perspective Studios and I have my own production company. Maybe you should come and use me instead of these guys. That's obviously not good etiquette. And as a result, you're gonna damage your brand reputation. I think it kind of speaks for itself. It's pretty obvious why you wouldn't do that. So we call it white label because they're coming in completely fresh. They haven't, they don't bring their production company with them. They're just working for us for the purpose of that project. But it gives a great learning opportunity, and often you can take advantage of those bigger paying clients and those bigger budgets too. If you're relatively new and you're just starting out and you're charging, let's say, a couple $100, it's going to take you quite a lot in order to break through that 100K target. So what you need to do is not only start to increase your prices as you get better and your portfolio speaks for itself, but actually to start bulking out your quotes. And that we do this by offering additional services. So I did this when I started out by offering obviously filming and editing, but then I started to offer drone services at an additional fee. I would also offer social media management as well, because I enjoyed being on social media. So I would charge them a couple $100s just for posting the content that I was already creating for them. I would also try and do some website design stuff. Now, the challenge here, and what I would ask you to focus on, is try and keep it as close to your core service offering and what you do as possible. So for instance, photography and drone work as additional services fits really well within your video production company. Website development doesn't so much, which is why we actually dropped that off as time went on, because we would just thought we were kind of quite split into two. So I would say if you're good at those things, it might be a good way to capitalize and make some more money early on, but don't see that as a long-term solution. But do see things like drone operation and certainly photography, videography. Maybe there's new opportunities within the industry, such as 360 video, that you can bring in and start to push out to your clients to actually charge more than just your typical day rates if you were just gonna be a filmer on a project. And what I'm actually gonna do is I'm actually gonna pull those things apart a little bit more over the next few tips so that you can find easier ways to utilize that and actually have other people do the work while you benefit from charging your clients more money. The road to making 100 grand can be quite long for some people, and it's not until sometimes I found you break through that barrier that it's actually easier to make. And now it's easy to make 100 grand because of the knowledge you've built up throughout that time. And hopefully by you watching this video and checking out all the content on this channel, you're actually able to make that process and that journey a lot quicker than I was able to, because you're able to learn from somewhere else when actually I didn't have anyone to learn from. So I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And that's why it's important to know you're only gonna get out what you put in. So you need to put in maximum effort and really drive it, because it all comes down to sales at the end of the day. If you're trying to make 100 grand, it just ends up being about how well can you sell your products and services? How well do you know your audience? And how well can you speak to them and provide the solution to their problems? Because they're not necessarily thinking, I want you. Or if they even are thinking, I need a video person, then they're gonna be broadly looking at everyone. So if you can really understand their problems and their challenges and provide the perfect solution to them, which is still gonna be video content, but what type of video, then that's gonna make a huge difference to your income at the end of the year, because you're gonna be able to charge higher and better prices. And we ultimately do this through niching. Now, I've had the pleasure of teaching filmmakers from all over the world, and what I generally find is this is really prominent in America more so than it is in some other countries. When people start a production company, they think, I need to find my niche, I need to get my niche straight away. Now, that building out a niche is a long process, and of course you can give it some direction, but your niche is often dictated by the clients and type of work that you do. Now, if you absolutely love cars and you love automotive, then of course there's a clear area there. So in terms of finding your niche, I would focus on what do you enjoy filming the most, but also look at one step further beyond that and think, what industries value video production? Because there's a lot of sections within the automotive industry that just don't value video production that much and actually don't have high budgets. Of course, you've got major car commercials, but that's a long journey. You're not gonna get there within a year or two, unfortunately. And that's just being brutally honest. Finding a niche is gonna come down to your portfolio and then actually understanding that, and that's a journey in itself. But it does open up the doors to charging much higher projects. And those areas that we've niched in, and you can have a few niches, we're easily able to charge 15 grand for a project because we speak their language, we know their challenges, and we can do a good job of solving them. And also we can put it in a relatable way where they know that we're the people to get the job done. So to kick things off, you might want to consider types of videos that you do. So maybe you just do explainer videos, maybe you just do promotional adverts, maybe you just do website content, perhaps you're doing educational content. Think about the types of videos that you're creating, and then also think about the areas or the industries you work within. So is that automotive? Is that sports? Is that action sports? Is that real estate? And maybe if you don't know the answer to those questions at the moment, then you just need more experience in diversifying your portfolio, trying a bit of everything, working white label for other brands, and then start to focus on where you can provide the most value and who also has the most money and values your services. Because you don't want to end up in a niche where you're not valued and therefore you can't charge higher prices, right? You can 100% make 100 grand a year for your video production company with just you in it, without having the need for anyone else. But it's going to be difficult, and you're going to also have times where you're going to have clients that clash. Simply by the volume of work you're going to be doing in order to hit 100K, you're going to have some times where one client says they want Monday, and another client says they also want Monday, and neither of them can budge. Now you've got an option. You say no to the lowest paying client, and they have to go and find someone else. But what if that person does a better job than you, or they get on with them better, and they just go back to that person? That's not going to be good for your business, is it? So what I would suggest you do is you start to outsource or actually think about employing someone. So let's start with outsourcing. So in that situation, you're going to be much better off using someone you know through your freelancer network or your friends and bringing them in to work on that project, because the money still passes through you. They can work white label for you, or you're transparent with the client if they know that you're a one-man band, and you can just say, yep, look, I actually can't do that, but I've got a very good friend who is available. They won't let you down. It's going to be great. We'll still handle your edit. We'll still look after the project for you, but they'll be the person doing the shoot. Generally speaking, it goes a lot better. The client remains with you, and it's all happy days. How you'd find that person is just by being active and involved in the community. Over at the Perspective Academy, which is our online training platform, we have like over 350 members that actually pass work around within the community from all different countries as well. So we easily pass more than 10 grand's worth of work within that community over the course of a year. So it's a great opportunity for people to collaborate within that network. So get involved with something like that and start to build out your freelancer network so that you can outsource projects, because you're going to get busy when you start making 100K. Now, the next option is to employ someone. And if you're employing someone, that's a big challenge. And if I refer you back to my first point, and hopefully what you'll do after this is you'll go and look at the training event we put together about the regular content plans and the retainer models. Employing someone's going to be key to your business. If you want to become a big production company and make hundreds of thousands of pounds, if not millions, then you're going to need to employ a team of people. And the best place to start is by normally employing an editor, because employing an editor will free up your time to go on and do the shoots. And most filmmakers I speak to, they love being on shoots. They might not like the editing process so much. So that's why you can bring in either another filmer editor or perhaps another editor. Or I would challenge you and I would ask you, have a think about, what do you not enjoy doing in your business? Maybe you don't enjoy filming and you really love sales. Then bring in a filmer or bring in someone in an area that you don't enjoy to free up more of your time. But that's only going to be made easier if you're actually having people on contracted clients on those retainer models. Can you guys do me a quick favor? If you are enjoying this video and you're getting any value out of it whatsoever, I think like 80% of people aren't subscribed to the channel, and it's a great way to support us and let us know what we're doing. And the more subscribers we get, the more we can invest into making these videos even better as well. So if you're enjoying it, please press that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. So earlier on when I spoke about additional services, I said about doing like websites and things like that, because I was able to build a website. I'd done it for myself, so I quite simply offered that service to a few people, and we later on dropped that because it was just taking up too much of time. And it wasn't really why I created the business. It was to become a production company, not a website company. So my tip here is to team up with other marketeers or other businesses within the marketing sector. So this is where we then started to team up with social media marketing agencies, website design agencies. We started to have talks with people who do graphic design or do branding. Because if you think about a customer journey, if I'm a big business or I want to launch a business and I've got $1 million in the bank, what am I going to do? I'm going to go and build the best website, and I'm going to get someone else to do that. I'm going to make sure my branding is great, my logo looks great. I'm going to get people to do my social media for me. So they're all very what we would call top of funnel. So they're like the first things you do in business before they start to filter down. So with those businesses, we can all work together to pass work around. And for us, video production is actually something that comes after a lot of those steps. So they have their website built. Oh, we need video. That's where we come in. Oh, we want to do social media. Cool, you need content. That's where we come in. So we work with these businesses as kind of like a third party to help their clients, and we work sometimes white label, but sometimes it's just set up separately. They refer work to us, we refer work to them. Sometimes there's a little bit of commission because they're passing us the work, and that's completely fine. But you can take advantage very quickly of other people's networks and other people's customers so that you can grow your business, and you're going to be able to scale a lot quicker as a result of that. So we've spoken about how important sales is and actually being out there and selling. But what marketing does is it attracts people to your business. It's often an approach that's a lot slower. It takes a lot more time for people to recognize you, get to know you, and then actually funnel through your marketing structure, whereas sales is a little bit more heavy-handed. But it's important nonetheless, and it's actually something that we as a business need to do more on over this year. Mainly, we've just become so busy with projects that we've kind of forgotten to market ourselves a little bit. But certainly when we started out, it was a key area that we would need to do. And I'm very much a relationships person. I build relationships with all of our clients and members of our academy, and just that's kind of person that I am. So I really enjoyed these tips that I'm going to share with you in order to increase your overall turnover. Oh, and by the way, if I say turnover for my American guys, that's revenue, by the way. Someone said to me in the academy the other day, turnover is normally when a company like ceases to exist and basically fails. And I was like, no, over here in the UK, turnover is your annual revenue at the end of the year. So that's what I mean when I say that. So 3 key tips in this area that are going to make a huge difference to you. First is attending trade shows. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. Go to trade shows in the niches that you're in or in the industries that you can provide value to, and go and talk to people, because anyone exhibiting at one of those trade shows is going to understand marketing because they're trying to market their own business. And that's where you can come along, have a discussion with them and say, hey, do you have the need for video content? Is that something we can have a discussion about? You'll very easily be able to pick up clients at trade shows. The second is to do talks. So this might be more localized, whether or not there's events that are happening, or again at those trade shows, they're always looking for people to talk about various areas of an industry. So we might go to a trade show that is, or a conference that is about real estate. And I might get in touch with the event organizers and say, hey, we do a lot of video production in the real estate sector. Could I do, a 20-minute talk that provides value about how businesses can use video production for their businesses and their promotion? If you can get on stage and talk to, some people about what it is that you do, you're going to very easily pick up clients because you're instantly seen as the expert and you're providing so much value from the very start of them meeting you. So finally, for marketing, I would go out and go networking. This is something I did lots of early on, and I'm starting to do a lot more of now. I've recently joined a couple of networking groups, and this is where local businesses get together and they all share the same drive for growing their business. Not only is there so much knowledge that you can learn from being around people who are a few steps ahead of you in business, but also there's a lot of work that gets passed within those groups. Some of them are paid for, some of them are monthly, some of them are weekly. It just depends. But what I would suggest doing is going and just having a look around and see what networking events are open to you. Of course, I've missed out things like Facebook marketing and paid advertising and Google AdWords and things like that. I feel like that comes later on. If you're not yet making 100K, then I wouldn't really think about spending a couple grand a month on that kind of advertising. But instead, use yourself, you market your business, go out there and meet some people, and you'll certainly be able to start to increase your revenue. At the end of the day, the amount of money you make is based on the amount of hands that you shake and ultimately the amount of people that you actually meet. So as much as I love sitting here and telling you different ways that you can make 100K and utilize that in your business, you're going to come up against a lot of challenges and you're going to need to avoid a lot of mistakes. Unfortunately for me, we had a huge oversight in our business that ended up costing us over $150,000. And it was a huge learning curve that really I should have noticed before it happened, but by that time it was too late. So if you want to learn about what to avoid and learn more about the mistakes that I made, then click on this video right here. I did a whole series on how we managed to get our business back on track after this huge mistake and other challenges that we've been facing, because ultimately I'd much rather learn about someone's failures than just talk about success all the time. And if you're interested to learn how you can use the RCP system in your business to create a predictable cash flow, then make sure you check out the link in the description. It's completely free to attend. Just give yourself enough time to watch the training. And until next time, peace.